Welcome back to Pokemon Colosseum. It's time for round 3. Yes, round 3 of the Deep Colosseum. We'll be facing Venus this time, and I'm thinking of leading with Dan Green, because Venus uses a lot of grass types. I suppose I should lead with Luna too, because Luna needs the experience the most. Or I could just go for the experience share on Luna, but I don't know. I guess I'll just lead with these two for now. Yeah, using a tank against an Annoyer-themed team, not exactly the best idea, but we'll give it a shot. Hopefully Dan Green will be able to pick up some of the slack. And yes, I am obliged to pronounce his name like that every single time. Because that is how you say it. For he is Dan Green. Anyway, Deep Colosseum once more. Let's go. Guess we've got a bodybuilder this time. Well, let's see what power you got. And that power is... You can't see my face here, but I just have this expression of just speechless horror. A Machop. You have a Machop this late into the post-game. You have a Machop? Are you serious? I don't even know what the game designers were thinking when they made this guy's team. Really, why? Why would you use a Machop this late in the game? In order to get here, we had to fight someone who had a Machamp. Why would you have a Machop here? Okay then. Using Toxic to activate your own guts is kind of an interesting strategy, but why Machop? You could have done the exact same thing with a Machamp. I think I actually remember this fight though, the whole using Toxic to activate your own gut strategy, which admittedly is somewhat cool. The problem is... Hang on a minute. Am I faster than Ursaring? If I am faster than Ursaring, I'm going to be mean here. No Toxic in the Machop for you. But yet... really? I am faster. Okay, let's see if I can shut off the Toxic. Baha, yes! So look at this, okay. You were using an 80 base power fighting type move on a dark type, and you only did that much. I know it's a defensive dark type, but still, why do you have a Machop? That is the exact opposite of quote-unquote power this late into the game. Why do you have a Machop? I wonder if that Ursaring is going to keep spamming Toxic, not realizing he's been taunted. Let me just try. Okay, good, you finally didn't miss. Still, it just got one-shotted. I don't know what to think. Why? Why? Why would you do that? Okay, and you have a Machoke too. So, you're building up to the higher evolutions, but again, this is post-game. You should be using the final level. Oh no, that's going to hurt a lot. Critical hit will... Yeah, that'll do it. I should probably stop making fun of this guy. I should get rid of that Ursaring right now, actually. Guts, Facade... Yeah, that's extremely painful, and... Speaking of extremely painful, I'm going to give him an extremely painful time. Because he kind of needs it. That Ursaring needs to go now. I was about to say, though, that in later generations, this whole strategy is rendered completely moot, because... and that's your last Pokemon. You don't even have a Machamp. It's rendered completely moot because you have Toxic Orb and Flame Orb. It's always kind of interesting, the choice between Toxic Orb and Flame Orb when it comes to Guts users. In general, Toxic Orb is used if you don't think the Pokemon is going to be in battle for very long, because if you're only in play for a few turns, Toxic will do less damage to you than Burn will overall. And hey, we've surpassed 200 attack stat now, with Pure Power. But if you're going to be in battle for a longer period of time, Toxic, because of its damage increasing, that's going to be bad for you, so you want to be using Flame Orb for Burn, because that'll be doing less damage overall. But yeah, if you're only going to be in battle for a very short number of turns, Toxic will be doing less to you. So yeah, there's your educational lesson about Flame Orb versus Toxic Orb for Guts Pokemon. Like, for example, something like Ursaring, I'd say would probably use the Flame Orb, because Ursaring's a little bit bulkier and can stand to be in battle for a few more turns. Whereas something like, let's say, Swellow... You're using a Machop this late into the game. I think you forgot to focus on winning a long time ago. Can you believe that battle took over 5 minutes? Let's hope you're actually a little more impressive. Oh, hey, that's a rider, isn't it? Oh, one of those taunts. Yeah, they always work. What we got here? Wigglytuff and Graveler. Well, I admit, Graveler is marginally better than Machop is, because a lot of the Trade Evolution Pokemon were designed to be quite strong, because, like, just in case players didn't have access to trading, so that was as far as they could get. I mean, I've seen a lot of Nuzlockes that generally disallow trading, so they often have to rely on Pokemon like Graveler, Machoke, and Kadabra, and Haunter. They're all quite strong. I think a lot of these Pokemon could even hold their own decently well in the lower tiers. In fact, a lot of them are actually very good in the lower tiers in Smogon. Sometimes even extremely good in the lower tiers. Because, yeah, they are basically designed so that if you don't have access... I said that already. Not quite a 2-hit carry, though. And I've swapped out Dan Green, obviously, because I didn't want to get Earthquaked. Although, I think I know what your plan is. Yeah, I had a feeling you'd use Defense Curl on both of them. Your specialty is Defense Curl Rollout, isn't it? I can tell. So, with that, I'm just gonna Giga Drain that Graveler. Don't really think that Wigglytuff is going to be doing much. And that's fine. Wigglytuff is another Pokemon that got a history of this Pokemon in competitive video, and the majority of it was basically just... they only did it to promote a history of Jigglypuff in competitive Smash Brothers video, which I didn't watch because I'm not particularly into competitive Smash. But I don't really know why Wigglytuff deserves its own video, because really the general gist of the video was Wigglytuff sucked, except when it got competitive in double battles. Then it was actually good, but other than that, it sucked in every single other generation. Because it actually became a surprisingly good Intimidate deterrent. Ray Rizzo even used one on one of his teams, which is pretty amazing. It helped that it got a slight buff to its special attack stat, so it went from base 75 to base 85. Still not amazing, but better than what it used to be. Yeah, Wigglytuff's only really good stat is its HP. And it was even worse in Gen 1 because it got terrible special, so it really couldn't attack very well at all. Body Slam was always a mainstay of its move pool, though. Probably because it didn't really... Well, actually, it did have a ridiculous move pool, it's just that there wasn't many moves that it could use well. Don't know why I wasn't using Feint Attack on the... I seem to have been deluding myself into thinking that Wigglytuff had really good special defense, so it actually doesn't. Oh, how I wish Surf hit your partner for once in this game, because that'd probably KO your own Wigglytuff. But yeah, I think I'm mistaking it for Blissey. And I just noticed you didn't even use... Wow. Well! I lost something to a Wigglytuff. That's embarrassing. Well, now that I know that Wigglytuff doesn't have, let's see. Actually, let's just return it. It's funny to say that. It sounds like you're returning a gift or something like that. I don't want this Wigglytuff. Give it back. And so it has been given back to its Pokeball. Donphan. Yeah, you're definitely a Defense Curl Rollout Specialist, because Wailmer can do that too. But you just aren't really using Rollout very much. Okay, I'm glad for that crit, otherwise Dan Green would have eaten the Surf. I'm sorry, Dan Green would have eaten the Surf. And, once again, Dan Green finds himself in a most troublesome situation. Because I really don't want that Donphan to be hitting me with Earthquake, which it probably will. Yeah, Donphan was another one of those Pokemon that... Actually, now I do want it to be hitting me with Earthquake, because it's probably not going to KO now that it's burned. But yeah, Donphan was one of those Pokemon that did cameo like earlier before. I used to love the way that it curled itself up into a wheel. It actually does do that in this game, in some of its move animations, but never really got a chance to show it. But yeah, believe me when I say it actually can do that, which is pretty cool looking. It sort of turned into like a tire. I guess that's what they were going for. I seem to remember that Donphan was a Pokemon that was technically OU by usage in one generation, but everyone thought that it was terrible in OU, so they were just waiting for it to go down to UU, but it never did. It's actually kind of a detriment for a Pokemon when that happens to it, at least in Smogon play, because it means that because it's OU by usage, it's banned by default in UU, an environment where it probably would see more success. So it was actually a good thing when it got used less and dropped down to UU. Anyway, next match against a scientist who is, I guess, studying terrible Pokemon. Studying the effects of bad stats on the survivability of Pokemon. Research concludes. Okay, Delcatty didn't quite faint to one hit, but still. That did way less than I thought. Then again, Umbreon's, probably want to get rid of you quickly now. Umbreon's, like, attacking stats are weaker than, well, are about equal to Spinda's defenses, so it kind of cancels itself out. Both of them seem to be wishing upon stars. They're both desperately wishing for some kind of mega so that they can actually be good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that, apologies to any Delcatty or Spinda fans out there. You do have to admit that they're not that good in battle. And I'd say most people who are fans of those Pokemon would know that. Anyway, let's finish off this Delcatty. I still love how Delcatty does that sort of just that... It's not exactly a tsundere head tilt, but it's like a pouty, posh rich person head tilt. I don't know. Anyway, your wish came true, but it didn't do anything. I mean, wish is a decent move, but in situations like this, not so much. I mean, it's really good on Pokemon like Vaporeon. I forget if they changed Wish. I seem to recall, don't quote me on this, but I seem to recall that, like, Wish now, it's just a 50% heal of the current Pokemon in play's max HP. I know that at least in this gen and a lot of other gens, Wish heal based on the user of Wish's max HP, which was great for Pokemon like Vaporeon, which Vaporeon could use Wish. It's got a huge HP stat. So, it could use Wish, and then you could switch in another Pokemon, and you'd heal for 50% of Vaporeon's max HP, which for most Pokemon is more than 50% of their HP. So, that was pretty effective. I forget if they did change it or not, I'll have to see. But anyway, it's time for the Queen of Annoyance herself once again. Speaking of annoyingly persistent, that's what I'd say you are. So what are you leading with this time? Raichu and Meganium. Aha! I made the right call in leading with Dan Green, because you are, in fact, using a grass type. I don't think she used Meganium last time, though. I'm pretty sure she used a different grass type. Or did she use Meganium? I'm forgetting. So, let's, you know what? I'm going to try... I mean, Raichu's probably so fast that it's not really going to be able to, it's not going to be affected very much by Taunt, basically. Reminds me of when I used a Raichu in VGC 2014. I think it gets inner focus, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Why would I think it gets inner focus? No, Lightning Rod. I was thinking because it gets Fake Out, so it doesn't want to fight inner focus Pokemon. But yeah, Lightning Rod was really effective. It having both Fake Out and Encore was really useful. I like to bring support Pokemon to my doubles teams. Not in the main storylines of games, though, because that's not really all that useful. But in any competitive doubles team I make, I like to have some support Pokemon. Things that can use moves like Fake Out or Follow Me, Quick Guard, Wide Guard. People often underestimate those moves. I always think they're pretty useful. Dusclops, though. That is pretty terrifyingly defensive. Well, at least we know this Raichu isn't going to be sweet-kissing anyone anytime soon. So no Parafusion for you. Wonder what that Dusclops is going to do, though. That kind of worries me. Oh, I guess now I can talk about that sound that I wanted to make when Dusclops faints. Okay, good. You're not missing Fire Blasts. You're critting that one. Nice. And there goes Raichu. I guess it doesn't really get that underappreciated in marketing now that Alolan Raichu exists. Blissey! You kind of had a feeling she'd use this eventually. I mean, it was kind of obvious that she'd resort to this kind of thing eventually. I mean, she loves spamming annoying status moves, so obviously she would resort to the ultimate queen of annoying status moves and annoying survivability. Which is why I'm switching to Kick Face here, because I've got just the answer for that Blissey. Because Blissies do not like fighting moves at all. They don't like anything physical, but they really don't like fighting moves. Unless they have Protect, in which case, if you protect if you use High Jump Pick on a Blissey that uses Protect, you're probably going to one-shot yourself. Water Pulse. Yeah, Blissey, especially with the introduction of Eviolite, Blissey has set itself apart from Chansey by actually being able to do somewhat okay damage by attacking. Shadow Punch. That's going to become interesting in XD because it's not a Shadow move. One of the few Shadow moves. I guess it's because Shadow Pokemon are called Dark Pokemon in Japanese, so yeah. I'll talk about that in terms of trivia when I actually get into catching another Shadow Pokemon. For now, yeah, let's just whack that annoying pink blob. Okay, good thing I didn't miss, because that would definitely one-shot me. Speaking of one-shots, though, there goes the Blissey. The awesome thing about Blissey is Blissey gives a lot of experience. And there's Melodic. There's your replacement for Suicune. And I think we'll be able to see Dusclops faint here. Wait for it. Woo! I'm sorry for anyone who... Yeah, but that's the sound that I kind of see in my head whenever Dusclops does that. Anyway, just being silly there. Could I go for the Parafusion on... No, I don't have... Yeah, I don't have... Confused right anymore. Let's just taunt you just in case, and doing that would sacrifice Kick Face, essentially. No, let's not do that. If I can win a battle without losing any of my Pokemon, I'll go for that option. My Pokemon are not sacrifices to be thrown away. That's why I refuse to use Self-Destruct or Explosion during the main storyline of any. Please tell me that wasn't aimed at Kick Face's slot. It was. Well, yes, it was. Well, yes, I did end up throwing a Pokemon away, but, I don't know. I didn't think we'd be using Ice Beam, so, I don't know. Can't really blame myself too much for that. Hey, Soul's almost level 60, that's nice. Not this taunt, this taunt's probably not going to be doing much, but anyway. I guess we've got the Soul and Luna combo going here. Don't really need to worry about tripping Marvel Scale with, because I'm actually, wait a minute, maybe Secret Power is not Paralysis here. It probably isn't, because the Under, I think, has a different effect. That thing is very specially bulky. And that was very specially powerful. Yeah, you're a lot specially bulkier than I remember you being. I think the level difference was a bit different when I was fighting you the last time. I'm gonna go out for... I hope this works. And Soul... Soul will also probably switch out. Like I said, I don't want to sacrifice anyone, and Soul won't be able to take another Hydro Pump. At least we had to hear the amazing Cypher admin battle theme. In fact, this is some of the last times in the game we'll be hearing it. Well, I mean, you can infinitely rematch the Cypher admins in the Deep Colosseum. They all just cycle through. Oh yeah, speaking of fighting Venus and Suicune and Hydro Pump, a bit of a weird combination of things, but I did mention this back in Suicune's bio just because I didn't want to have to wait until now. Something that I only found out by looking at Bulbapedia. This is really, really strange, but if you don't snag Suicune in all of Venus's fights up until now, so wait until now for her to be using Shadow Suicune, it will have replaced Surf with Hydro Pump. Which I kind of feel is a bit weird because it means you'll never be able to get Surf unless you trade it to the GBA games because there's no Surf HM in this game. Anyway, though, it's the one instance of a Shadow Pokemon having a different move depending on how late in the game you snag them. But anyway, Venus has been defeated, and that wasn't quite as annoying as I expected it would be. So we get more money, and TM44, which I think is rest. Another email. It's probably going to be as unhelpful as the others. Yes, it's rest. So, yeah, that's another post-game exclusive TM. I could teach that to Suicune, actually, in place of... That might not be a bad idea, now that I think about it. I might need Gus, though, one more time. We'll see. Anyway, let's check the emails. Deep King, another exclamation mark. Slowly getting more information. He uses a Shadow Shuckle. We could have found that out on our own, seeing as Shuckle is the only Shadow Pokemon on our list that we haven't currently snagged, but still, I'll give him props for trying this time. So, that's another round down, and obviously though, before we face the Deep King, we have one more Cypher admin we haven't beaten in a rematch yet, so it'll be time for round 3 with Iron very soon. One more round of Cypher admins, and then we get into new stuff. So, we're going to be facing Iron next. Iron likes Rain Dance Thunder, so... who am I going to be using for that? I'm actually not really sure, although he does have a lot of grass... No, a lot of water types, which grass types are good against, so I guess I could leave with Jumpluff, mainly just because these two need a bit more experience. Everyone is almost at 60, though. I want to make sure that I finish off the post-game having everyone as evenly leveled as possible. There is a reason for that I'll be explaining later. But anyway, let's go. Deep Colosseum, round 4. Begin. And who do we have here? Oh, we have one of you guys. Have you lived your whole life down here? That'd be kind of sad, actually. I mean, there's this secret subterranean community of people who live in Ore. They've been here all this time. Only sometimes coming up to the surface. The affairs of the surface world are of no concern to them. Anyway, okay, both of you are going to be, well, Dan Green is going to be effective against both of you here, so let's just Fire Blast that Nuzleaf. Nuzleaf is another character who appears in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. I wonder who'd voice him if there was an anime special of Super Mystery Dungeon. I don't know. I was just thinking, I mean... Yeah, no. I was thinking that, like, Sam Eagle does a lot of southern accents sometimes. I don't know why he does a lot of southern accents, but... For some reason he does, and, but I don't really see, like, I see Nuzleaf having a deeper, slightly deeper southern accent. Right, what will... I'll just go ahead and Cotton Spore something. You imposter, Jumpluff! You are not as good as the true Jumpluff that is on my team. Yes, apparently my Jumpluff is the only real Jumpluff in existence. Of course, that's going to take... Oh, actually, doesn't matter. Dangreen outsped you. Yeah, you probably don't have effort points at all, because you've got a very high speed stat, and I think Dangreen's base speed is only like 95? No, it's 100, isn't it? Well, at least you have more Pokemon, but all of them are weak to fire. See, this is what the problem is with using Pokemon, and it's not even like a gym leader style, oh, they're all the same type. No, you're using Pokemon of different types, but all of them are weak to fire. Come to think of it, they're all... No, apart from the Nuzleaf wasn't weak to rock, but other than the Nuzleaf, they're all weak to rock as well. It is funny, you often see a lot of trainers who specialize in that kind of thing in these games. My specialty is Pokemon that are weak to fire. I really hope I don't face anyone who uses fire types, because I'm an idiot. But I mean, these are really just warm-ups to get you ready for the fight with Iron anyway. I mean, he's really the main threat here. It's not like Mount Battle Area 10, where everyone in that area is actually kind of a threat. Especially that Rain Dance trainer. Ugh. And it gets even worse in Mount Battle mode when a couple of the trainers there use Ubers, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So that first fight was not really very much. But hey, at least we leveled up out of it. Why is Dan Green so behind in levels? I guess I've been switching him out a lot, because whenever a rock type comes out, I'm fearing an earthquake. Yes, that is the first major problem you've ever had to deal with. Because you live your life secluded from everything else in the world. So, round 2, who we got here? I've had a feeling we'll be seeing a roller boy here occasionally. Maybe you're also one of the underground Auraians. Lantern and Laron. 2 Pokemon that start with LA. Fun fact, LA, literally just LA, was supposed to be Weezing's English name. Coughing was NY. Yes, they were making a joke about polluted American cities. A lot of the, like, there are a lot of, like, prototype names and... Actually, wait a second. Give her the Lantern and Fire Blast the Laron. I just realized that you're not resistant to fire. But yeah, a lot of the, like, the early prototype names of some of the Gen 1 Pokemon are kind of weird, much like their Japanese names. But, like, Scyther, I think, was just Strike with a Y. Yeah, there was NY, LA, I think Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar were like Ghost, Spectre, and Phantom. I'm trying to remember any of the other prototype names. Lickitung was Tongue-Tied, also with a Y, which I actually kind of like better than its English name. I suppose Lickitung is a more accurate representation of its Japanese name, which is kind of an onomatopoeia for licking, but... Speaking of which, okay, just going on a random tangent here, because I don't have all that much to say. Probably should switch out Dan Green here. But random tangent is that Licky Licky caused a Lost in Translation joke in one of the Pokemon movies. So, yeah, there's a character who for some reason gets transformed into a Licky Licky. I have no idea why. But the joke is that his name is Baron Alberto, and Licky Licky's Japanese name is Beru Beruto. So, which comes from Beru Beru, which is like the onomatopoeia for licking. But the joke is that he's now Baron Beru Beruto instead of Baron Alberto. So, the name sounds similar. But in English, his name was still Baron Alberto, and, I think they just called him, like, Baron Licky Licky, which doesn't make sense as a joke. Because it sounds nothing like his original name. So, like, I don't know, like, they probably could have come up with a better English name that... I guess that's just my, my Ace Attorney, fan translator-ness talking there. Yes, I had to come up... Well, I didn't come up with all the pun names in that fan translation. In fact, I think only one of them is mine. Only J. Elbert is mine. And Patricia Rowland is kind of mine. Because I always used to call her Patty Roll. But I guess we just needed something that sounded better as a last name. And this is a weird tangent. Yeah, a lot of the others I could not have come up with something better if I tried. Like, Raymond Shields is perfect. Horace Knightley is beyond perfect. Like, that's pretty much keeps every pun in his Japanese name. And it's funny, I don't like puns normally, but, like, I appreciate a good, well-localized pun name. Because you sometimes have to be creative there to keep the, like, if you can get something that's as close as possible to the original pun name, and one that still makes sense, then... Because that's not really something that Pokemon does, because the majority of the time, the English pun names are totally different to the Japanese pun names, because for some reason, like, a lot of the gym leaders in Japanese have names that are based on plants, not really relating to their type specialty. A few of them do kind of relate to their type specialty, but a lot of them are just kind of based on plants. So, most of the English pun names are just inventions in the English version. But it still doesn't make any sense to say that, Pokemon has no experience with localizing pun names, because a lot of Pokemon names, as I was going to earlier, a lot of them may try and keep the same pun as the Japanese name. I'm trying to think of what my favorite one of those was. Although I still feel like, I still feel like they could have done better with Darmanitan. Because its Japanese name is like a triple pun. It's Hihi Daruma. It comes from Hihi, which is balloon, baboon. Hihi, which is baboon. Daruma, which is, Daruma, like Daruma doll. He, which is fire, and then Hidaruma, which is covered in flames. So, there's like 4 different puns in that name at once. And they didn't really get that across in English. Please don't one-shot Jumpluff. Thank you. I'll probably recover all my health with this Giga Drain anyway, because, yeah, this is Giga Drain against a 4 times Grass Weak Pokemon. I thought it wouldn't quite one-shot, though. 1, Giga Drain is quite weak, 2, Jumpluff has quite weak offenses. It almost one-shotted, though. Now, please one-shot here. Swellow isn't exactly the bulkiest of Pokemon. Good. Oh no, Crawdon! Not you again. My mortal enemy. What is it with all these unexpected ice themes? That's probably not... Okay, it did more than I expected, but it still didn't one-shot me. I guess I'll drain that Crawdon, and I'll just finish that Marshtomp off. Yes, my nemesis from the Battle Tower, even though this technically hasn't happened yet, because that was in Gen 4, and this is only Gen 3. Gen 3 Crawdon could still learn Guillotine, though, or Guillotine, however you pronounce it. I was about to go on a tangent there, but I've now forgot about the oh yeah, that was it. Something about the... Yeah, it was about in the Pokemon anime and pun names. Okay, I didn't expect you to hit Jumpluff, but I'm glad you didn't KO me. But, there was one time in the anime where they got so lucky with their translation choice. I've probably already talked about this before in another Pokemon video I've done, but the thing about Dawn... So, Dawn, or Hikari in Japanese, has an embarrassing nickname. In the Japanese version, it's Pikari, and in English, they made it Didi. And what they couldn't have possibly known at the time was that hundreds of episodes later, they explained the origins of that nickname. And it turns out that she touched, like, a Plusland mine when she was at school, and they made her, like, got electricity all over her, so she got called Pikari from, like, Pika Pika, which is, like, an onomatopoeia for electricity sparkling, which is the same one that's used in Pikachu's name. But anyway, and they were able to really... I love how Caper is in all capitals, as if it's, like, part of that whole, like... They never called it Shadow Pokemon Caper before. It was always the Shadow Pokemon plan. Oh, Gyarados, okay. I'm sure you didn't have a Gyarados last time. That is a bit of a setback. If that Manectric has Lightning Rod, though, that's actually really smart. You're drawing electric attacks away from that Gyarados. Although it would be a lot better in a later generation when Lightning Rod... Yes, I'll do the tried and true thing I've been doing to Gyarados all game, put them to sleep. But yeah, it would raise your special attack in later generation. Okay then! I'll have to watch out for that, because a fast Gyarados is a bad Gyarados. Well, bad for me. Bad to be on the receiving end of. I mean, you know what happened with Gonzap and his Dragon Dancing Earthquake Gyarados. I'm pretty sure this one's going to do the same thing. Gyarados is another Pokemon that even before the physical special split was still amazing. Uh-oh. I might be in trouble here. Well, that at least wastes one of your turns. Oh, I'm really in trouble here. I just double targeted that Manectric. Nice move, Iron. Well, at least that wasted Gyarados' turn, but it's now faster. Toxic? Oh yeah, that was Ian's, like, Iron's secondary strategy. Guess I didn't get to finish what I was saying about that Dawn thing. So basically, in the English version, they said that it was DD stood for Diamond Dandruff. It's a bit awkward, but admittedly, when they had to very hastily rework an existing English name to fit with an established Japanese plot point that they wouldn't have known about in advance, it's still kind of impressive. Yeah, I wonder if in more plot-heavy anime, the dub studio works directly with the Japanese studio to make sure that they don't accidentally contradict any plot points that happen later on, or if they just have to just hope they get lucky, like with that one. this is kind of suicide. I should have known you'd protect again. Okay, rain boosted hydro pump. I've got pretty good HP in special defense. Or you could crit me. What is it with Dan Green getting critical by things that I had a feeling that I might have survived otherwise? I mean, that might have still one-shotted me, but it's still really annoying. And I don't really want to bring in Suicune because I could get thundered by that Manectric. Although I kind of feel like I want to get rid of that Gyarados as soon as I can. The question is, what is the bigger threat here? Actually, that Manectric is almost down. I don't think another Giga Drain will finish it off, though. I should probably focus more on the battles here, unless I'm going on random tangents. Because these are the actual serious fights, and you've got 5 Pokemon. Okay, I can either try and go for... okay, I'm going to try and do this. Okay, yeah, you are the fastest in the field. I kind of should have expected. Ow! Okay, right. And that can't paralyze me, thankfully, because I'm already poisoned. So I can't, you know, accidentally... Well, not accidentally, but... get unlucky and waste my turn from being fully paralyzed. However, you are going to faint to poison this turn. Unless Gyarados does... Right on. Oh, yeah, your whole strategy is revolving around, that would have been more effective in Gen 1 when Gyarados had a 100 base special attack set effectively. But, yeah, I remember now, your whole strategy this time revolves around using Lightning Rod Pokemon. But you having a Rhydon is kind of bad, because I'm going to switch Suicune in, and I'm going to use a Rain-boosted Surf to instantly destroy you. So, you probably should have thought that through. For a scientist, I'd expect a little bit more strategizing there, Iron. Because while Rhydon is decent on a, I'm just thinking about something. So that Rhydon came in before or after Gyarados used Thunder? Because I forget if Lightning Rod works the way that it did in later gens here, like that it draws in your own electric moves. Because I know that always, like, that actually messes me up sometimes. Or you could just protect. That's not really that big a deal, honestly. Because you'll still go down to Surf next turn, unless you're trying to stall out the rain. Because, yeah, on my my VGC 2017 team, it was an electric terrain team, and I have... Well, actually, wait, no, I didn't bring a Lowland Marowak. I had a Lowland Marowak at one point, and then I chose not to bring it to the actual tournament. But at one point, I had an Alolan Marowak, and I'd always mess myself up by using single-targeting electric moves while my Alolan Marowak was on the field and waste my turn. Thankfully, I never did that in an actual multiplayer match. I only did that in Battle Tree, but still, it was kind of annoying whenever I did that, because it's just such a dumb mistake to make. Because I'm like, oh, hey, I won't use Discharge this turn. I use Thunderbolt. My own Lightning Rod took it. Because when you got a Xurkitree out in the field, you want to be maximizing the damage. I don't think that mattered. Lightning Rod benefits your Crobat too. It's actually kind of nice. So your strategy now is Rain Dance Thunder, Toxic, and also Lightning Rod. Combined with Pokemon that are normally weak to Electric. I guess your, I guess it's, like, the idea might be that you realize that, the risk of double targeting the Crobat is that I might end up going into a Protect. We'll see. Okay, no Protect, good. And I'm faster than the Crobat? That's kind of surprising. But yeah, the earlier battles with Iron, I'm guessing that you could probably use your own Thunders against him, because he has a lot of Electric types that don't like Thunder, so you can kind of use his own Rain against him. So this team is kind of trying to punish you for doing that. Mantine has Gargantuan special defense. This might take a while. Actually, let me just run a very quick, rough calculation. Surf is 95 power. With Stab and Rain, that's times 1.5 and then times 1.5 again. I think that's the same as times 2. Pretty sure that'd be the same as times 2, although I'm not sure, so I'm just going to say that 95 power would be 95 times 2. 190, and then that halved would be... that'd be... 95. Yeah. That's kind of dumb. Anyway, I'm going to go for Surf, because I think that'll do more than Ice Beam in this circumstance. I'm actually not that good at maths, but sometimes I can do enough multiplications to kind of understand. Yeah, I don't know if times 1.5 then times 1.5 again is the same as times 2 or not. Well, you hurt yourself in confusion, so I guess we won't find out if that serve is going to be doing more. So yeah, 95 times 1.5, so like half of 95 is like, you've got 45, and then like, it's like 47.5, but I'll just say it's 48, and then... So you have to add that to 95. Then you have to the man time is down anyway, there's no point in me doing any more calculations. I'm surprised it went down that quickly, actually. So we have beaten Iron for the third and on camera last time. You can rematch him as much as you want, though, from now on. This basically means that all of the Cypher admins are Karma Houdinis, because none of them are arrested. They're all just hanging out here, all battling in this Colosseum. Why'd I get even less money for that? TMO2. And we have another email. I think we've already found out everything we need to know about the Deep King, though. Dragon Claw. I doubt anyone here can learn that, though. Nope. And that is special in this generation. Which Sceptile does like. I used to pronounce it Skeptile when I was younger. And another Deep King email. So... we know that he's going to be entering the next challenge. So that's what all this was building up to. Unless you haven't snagged the admin Shadow Pokemon yet, the only point in going through all 4 of those rounds was to make the Deep King appear. We have a 5th round to this Colosseum, something that no other Colosseum in this game has, and there we'll be facing the Deep King. So with that, this video is probably running along as it is, so I'll probably be doing it in the next part. So see you for that.